말을 못하죠. 그땐 일을 생각을 안 해야죠. 생각을 하면 그 어려갖고 정말 기가 막혀요. 그 어마어마한 군인들이 달라들었고 강제로 달라들 적엔 정말 기가 막혀 아주 입살을 깨물고 도망을 가려고 뿌리치고 도망을 나오다가 붙잡혀서 끌어가면 당하면서도 어떻게 기가 막히고 가슴 아프고.
This project commemorates the victims of the sexual slavery by the Imperial Japanese Army during World War II. On August 14th, 2021, marks the 30th anniversary of Kim Hak-soon's testimony that broke the silence on this history. The World After You Spoke is a poetry video project featuring a Korean-American poet, Michelle Myers, and African-American poet, Yolanda Wisher.
말이야, 나 그때 생각을 안 해야지 하면은 내 이 마음이 아주 그냥 더 어떻게 할지를 모르겠어요. 그냥 그 생각을 하면.
I am a chorus of fish singing at dawn. I would like to say that I have not been broken, that my girlhood was never disturbed, that I never failed to learn the curious distance between air and water, that my life has been a kind of perfect. I would like to say that I have been healed, that the salt times turned to forest again, wilderness of girls untouched on the edge of evil that became ocean to never recede. I would like to say, I do not know the key of terror. I would like to say that I am wiped clean, that I am a virtuous woman. I would like to say, I did not ruin myself. I am a chorus of fish singing at dusk. What could she do going back with this body? They took her to a warehouse full of tears, on a truck full of lies, aboard a boat full of silences. They took her on the wild mountainside. A million rapes hung from the moon. The soldiers came in waves. There was no night and day. Below, she was torn, turned inside out, bleeding. Cigarettes became husband and children. She drank from this dark well every night. What could she do? Barely a body, only a mouth that would not work underwater, a dry screaming on land. What could she do going back with this body? The fish woman remembers when she was a woman, when she was many women. The fish woman dreams of animals on shore. The dream is the only place where she remembers. Wolves pacing the back patio, a white snake charismatic in the forest. She dreams human dreams, the only place animals come to speak, with lidded movements and small doses of the unspeakable. The fishwoman dreams around corners of her children growing wings. She sings blue songs marking their evolutions. The fishwoman knows Wars are rough-handed waters, tributaries of assault, riptides a shackling, little towns flooded with her birth fluids. The fishwoman is raw, with missing children, lopped away like gills. And the fishwoman was frightened of two-legged creatures. She was frightened of unseen germs and things she couldn't keep between her lips. Her fears swam about her like red kelp. Her fears petitioned her body to remain in the deep. Her fears held her caught between stiff fingers of coral. She stored fears in oyster shells, blister pearls thrown back with flaws. She licked the underside of her worries, morning after shame-soaked morning, refusing to be afraid, lest she forget herself. The fishwoman is a grandmother, but has no brood. The fishwoman is an heiress, but has no loot nor lineage. Only myth-laden ladies turned into trees or stone or cows. She senses a wild grace in her thin bones. She dreams of fishwomen with the bodies of stars, comet tails, glowing toes like anemone waving in the dark. She wakes knowing she is the last. First, many, the end. The fishwoman breaks curses by breathing, each bubbled breath a blue note, her undone curses humpback whales, impossible to dissect. They are starfish refusing to yield to any machetes of mending. The fishwoman dreams up ancestors, beasts with plumage, who flew into themselves and made a new country under the whistling of their skin. The fishwoman hates the sound of men with their tools on Sundays, violating the quiet of the day, disturbing the peace of squirrels, cardinals, earthworms. When she comes up for air, she is greeted with the growl of lawnmowers, men who have given up a world of Sundays. The fishwoman swims alone in shallow veins of her own making. She sews new ways with her teeth, seals the ends with slick spit, goes about her business moving forward. The fishwoman eats the algae of each day like the body of the white boy saint, like the haunches of the Buddha. She crunches the manna in her jaw, a poultice for the seabed, even the smallest fish, a healer. I would like to be reborn as a woman, when all this writing will become breathing without water, when all this writing will be an exorcism with wings. I would like to be reborn as a woman, not even still or despite. This woman life a wedge in the wrongs men wring, this woman life that makes struggle familiar, that feeds and gives and swells with its own wisdom, till it spins the world a different way. This woman life that must be bartered and stolen and cheapened to dim its necessariness, its origin of origin. What's another word for the surface of the water? The world after she spoke, rippling, with the singing of women who did not cross, a broken mirror full of omens congratulating themselves. The ocean is land that has lost itself, earth that has surrendered. War is an ocean no one recalls how it started. I would like to be reborn as a woman who remembers. The world is right when brown women are dreaming. The world is right when dark black women are dreaming, when light-skinned women are dreaming, when albino women are dreaming, when the spotted woman is dreaming, when the Red River woman is dreaming, when the island woman is dreaming, when the fish woman is dreaming, when the leopard woman is dreaming, when the lion woman is dreaming, when the coyote woman is dreaming, when the raccoon woman is dreaming, when the fox woman is dreaming, when the salamander woman is dreaming, when the wind woman is dreaming, when the rock woman is dreaming, The world is right, right, right.
Murdered by life. Yet there she stood at the edge of the world, her death mask breathing like skin that did not trust itself to stretch. Hers was a she-soul mummified by words and memories of spiritless, marauding makeshift men who loved nothing. And she had swallowed nothingness until her insides were full on lint. Lint she regurgitated into quilts with secret symbols that she hung upon the stars to lead her home. But she knew home would have to wait, for she had promises to keep, so she sought solace in sleepless dreams of salvation and tattooed secret sins on the top of her tongue so that she would know the sweet taste of revenge. For she had dwelt on the opposite side of freedom long enough, and now she wanted their blood, just like they had taken hers. Just like they had let shame crawl into her mouth to eat from her belly, just like they had skinned her alive to get to her baby girl, just like they had fashioned her this death mask that hid the tracks of her tribal scars and covered the contours of her scalped head. She stood there at the edge of the world ready, spitting a maelstrom that shattered her false face into so many subtle shards, and she realized she was strong enough not to pick up the pieces. Yes, she was strong enough. She who stood there at the edge of the world, she was strong enough. She who braced herself for impact was strong enough. She who only knew resistance and the dignity of dying hard was strong. She stood ready and took a deep breath. She stepped onto the world, expecting to plummet, a fallen woman, when instead, wondrous she life took flight on the swirling winds of her outstretched fingertips, and only then could she love enough to soften her lips to kiss the naked sky waiting before her. 아리랑 아리랑 아라리요 아리랑 고개로 넘어간다 나를 버리고 가시는 님은 심리도 못 가서 발병난다. Poetry is my first language. From the moment my mother sang me sad Korean songs as I crawled from her womb into her arms, passing Han into my spirit, words have tried to form like bubbles on my baby-sized tongue, seeking flight from my lips, too often to splatter in my face. Since then, I have learned that poetry is not a language that forms on the tongue. It must first find shape in my heart. Lately, my Han-filled heart has wavered in the echo of my silence. A quote that I read resounds inside me. If you're not listening with the thought of changing your mind, you're not really listening. I listen in the silence, but my mind has its own way of doing things, always asking questions. I have long wondered, what is the difference between quiet and silence, listening and hearing, feeling and being, seeing and knowing? But then their senseless violence jostles me out of my contemplations, and I am caught in an aftermath to a memory and action, and I am called to initiate our poetry in stealth mode. We are tired of men writing and telling our stories, stamping on our hearts, talking out of our mouths. So we reclaim their histories as ours. We write loudly and speak loudly and live loudly, emerging from the spaces where they seek to bury us. We are vengeance, resurrected, angry, and forceful, layering our words over theirs, casting a spell to send our voices into their dreams, an incantation to fortify our injured spirits and to avow the memories of our grandmothers, mothers, aunties, daughters, and all our sisters through time and space. I conjure my mother's indignant voice to speak the words, "Yeah, do not dare call her or judge her as whore or worthless or nasty or temptress or bitch or say she asked for it. She is our grandmother, mother, auntie, daughter, sister." Your words seek to desecrate, to grind her bones into salt and to render her sacred body sterile. But vengeance germinates in her marrow, rooting her spirit to the earth and spreading her reach beyond the sky. Far and wide, she touches us and gives us the strength to claim our bodies as our own. We shake loose our stories and step into freedom. This is our poetry in stealth mode. Our poetry resets the silence. We do not bother to erase their lies. Our poetry dares us to write over them, to bear both mark and witness, to be both scar and testimony. Even in silence, our poetry has kept vigil. Even before words, our poetry has insisted on more than the barest scraps of dignity. So we remember. 아리랑 아리랑 아라리요 아리랑 고개로 넘어간다 나를 버리고 가시는 님은 심리도 못 가서 발병난다. No time for last words. I move on, knowing I have spoken the best way I know how.